Welcome back to the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast, folks. My name is John.
My name is Jimmy.
How are we? What's going on, folks? Welcome back. Jimmy, how's it going? Happy July.
Happy July
1st today.
We made it, baby. We made it.
Summer's flying. June flew by. Summer's flying. We're already third way through.
I haven't been to the beach yet. I haven't been to a concert yet, and summer's already basically over. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I feel like there hasn't been like much. Like usually I hear stuff like, oh, big concert, and like things are happening late this year, and but I also haven't been to the beach. Not big beach guy. Yeah. I figured we talked about this.
I actually have a pretty good topic, I think, for the Patreon.
Okay.
Maybe best and worst concerts we can talk about.
Ooh, okay. I got my. I know my best, but I have to think about my worst. But yeah, we can head over there, which is a good plug. I'm glad you said that because, folks, obviously we got a whole show ahead of you. We are talking Night of Champions. We are talking Raw last night. But if you want to hear us, continue talking after the show, we got Q&A and us just chit chatting for another hour or so. Head over to patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for bonus pods, and it's $5 a month. You get the whole back catalog as well. So please head over there. It's a great way to support the channel, as well as there's a merch description and all that stuff. But I'm glad you said that because I always forget to plug it. Big weekend of wrestling. First and foremost, catch everyone up to speed. One, thank you everyone for being on the stream.
Absolutely.
Successful stream, fun stream, always a good time. So thank you everyone who tuned in for a little bit or the whole thing or what have you. And then obviously we did have a result. The SCW Championship did not retain hands, as you can see. It was retained. Who helped you? Was it
I love you solo.
That's what it was. Big win.
I did it without an album.
Huge. So, I mean, we have so much coming up. We have in between like the next PLEs, we're gonna try to defend it on quizzes if we have like the time frame, but also the weekend that's Saturday's main event, All In, Evolution.
Yes.
I believe we're defending the title at every single, You know what I mean? It's gonna be a big weekend.
I'm calling it the big weekend.
The big weekend. The big weekend. So we're getting ready for that. But without further ado, we can dive right into Night of Champions.
Hell yeah.
I figure let's just start at the top and we can kind of dive into the tournament or whatever. But main event here, John Cena defeats CM Punk. Whole lot of stuff happened. We had the Seth Rollins run-in. We had John Cena almost feeling remorseful, almost, if that's the word for it, toward the crowd. Talk to me. Give me some more details. How'd you feel about this? The result, whatever you got in mind.
So my only issue with it going in was I thought the result was written on the wall. I thought John Cena was going to retain. However, still really enjoyed this, 25-minute or so banger of a match.
There were some instances that got me. If we're on the stream, there was a couple instances where like, oh my God, Punk got it. Oh my God, Punk got it. But yep, I agree.
Well, especially when the part when Cena didn't hit him with the title. And then Punk hit him with the GTS. And I thought for one sliver of a moment, CM Punk was going to walk out of Saudi Arabia, booze and all, and become the WWE champion. But of course, Seth freaking Rollins, his mission of making sure CM Punk never wins a world title on the main roster, at least in the second run, he was successful. Traveled all the way to Saudi Arabia just for that, apparently.
Hey, Penta traveled all the way just to dance down the ramp for a little bit.
Yeah, not very eager to go help John Cena, which I mean, rightfully so. He's a bad guy, so it was definitely interesting to see Seth. But then Seth clarified on Raw, saying he wasn't there to cash in; he was there to prevent CM Punk. But then right after that said his mission, he made apparent a while ago that he was going to torture both world champions. He was talking to Gunther when he said that. So I thought it was kind of contradicting a little bit. But yeah, it was a fun match. CM Punk, John Cena, wrestling soulmates. And then of course the John Cena face change again when he did hug CM Punk.
So funny. Just like staring right down the barrel, and it's so obvious. Going to kick him, Punk catches it, which I thought was really good. And yeah, I think that led to maybe another GTS. I forget, but
bump of the night, Charles Robinson.
Yeah, we're not even Penta came out, Sami came out. Those two kind of got fought off as they're fighting off like Seth's faction. Charles Robinson sprinting down and getting taken out by Cena. That man, I knew he wasn't like a spring chicken or nothing. I believe 60 years old. taking that bump. 60.
Wow.
60 years old, getting like football plowed. You know what I mean? By Cena.
Yeah, it definitely deserves a few nights off from reffing. Definitely the leader of the refs and hopefully a future Hall of Famer. I know you shouted that out a few while ago, and that's like a really cool thing that I think Charles definitely deserves. But yeah, really really good match. I give it maybe 3.5, 4 stars on the old Askin scale.
I think people were complaining it might be a little overbooked and like whatever. It worked for me. I think it was fun. Sure, did Penta and Sami make that much sense? They're like around, like, not really, but like they're kind of around the same, universe of what's going on.
Yeah, it was more so to fight off, Seth and
that's
the faction
the thing, right?
With. Another issue though I had was, and this isn't just in general with wrestling history, is referees' durability. And just seemingly he was down for so long, but then of course right when they're going for the pin, he's right back up. They go. I would
have maybe liked a slow pin. Like if we got him, he crawls back in the ring. Sure, he's been down for a while, gets back in the ring, fine, whatever. But at least like a 1, 2. But he like slid back in, and went 1, 2, 3.
Spring chicken.
Yeah.
Make it no DQ. If you're gonna do all these shenanigans and have the ref look like an absolute cupcake and be discombobulated for so long, that's a suggestion. But then again, it's wrestling, it's fun, and that's what I had. A whole lot of fun. This whole show was pretty fun.
I guess the big question here is where do we go with Cena now? What's on the dock? I mean, obviously, which we'll jump around to the matches, but we did have Cody Rhodes win his King of the Ring match, so he gets a qualified SummerSlam, excuse me, frog in my throat. Gets a qualified SummerSlam match against the world champion. It's presumably going to be John Cena. So, yeah, where do we go from here up until SummerSlam? Do we start to dive into maybe the feud, do some more promo battles? Does Cena do something in between? I don't know.
Apparently, we only have like 13 dates left because that's been the whole thing in contention is like, how many dates does John Cena have? I think it's only like 13 now. So then I've been starting to, hypothesize about, again, when he retires, he has to be a face. He have to go back to being the good guy, and then if that's an indicative to, the heel turn being a failure, or I don't think so. I think that it definitely took him to step in the right direction this whole entire run, the whole Punk rivalry. Punkonomics on SmackDown was fantastic. I know it's kind of old news now, but
so funny.
That was a lot of fun. And then even watching it back the other day was Punk kind of said, under his breath a little bit, camera kind of caught. He goes, "I'm gonna miss you."
See, I saw that on like Reddit, but I think it was like I don't know if that's what he said.
Okay,
because there's like
I'm gonna diss you.
So some people were speculating I'm gonna beat you.
Oh, okay.
Some people were saying I'm gonna miss you. I kind of saw that, and instantly people were like, "Well, we know who's the fucking lip reader here."
True,
but if it's a nice detail when that's true, if he goes in the middle of his dissing him, just a nice little, just like, I'm gonna miss you.
Well, even
beautiful.
What happened during the match with the hug, I'm sure Punk might have said some actual nice real life words to Cena in that hug. Of course, it ended up being face change, attempted kick in the nuts, but it's really beautiful. The friendship between those two and those two, all timers feuding here.
I do think though, and we got some kind of going, again to the question of kind of what's next is we did get that moment where Cena didn't hit him with the title, and he kind of looked around at the crowd, and I think it was a mixture of listening to the crowd and also, realizing that I would imagine, Randy is his biggest rival, but I don't know if Randy and Cena, kayfabe-wise, are like friends, right? Punk and Cena, kayfabe-wise, it's been told to us that they are friends.
Yeah.
So I think this was the first moment of like, well, this is my friend over all these years. Am I really going to do this? And also listen to the fans. And the video package they played back for it, they really did emphasize the hesitation, because while Cena's hesitating, they're showing clips of like kids in Cena gear and shit.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first big drop in the bucket of Cena slowly regretting his heel turn and going back on his heel turn and him dissing the audience. So I don't know if it's going to happen before SummerSlam, but I think we're working up to that promo of I was wrong, or I don't know. I keep thinking maybe they're going to tie it into like, I sold my soul. They can always lean on like I sold my soul thing, even though Cena kind of already brush that to the wayside. But I think this is the first step in turning him back face.
Or just see the cliche of nobody's perfect, and the fact that
Sure.
he was perfect, literally perfect, as a role model superhero for 25 years, as he says.
The stress broke me. Yeah. I was desperate to get the title, and
Meanwhile, what's next for him, and in my opinion too, match of the night, United Champions, King Cody, SummerSlam. I think we're getting a double turn. I think because the thing is, hear me out, because Randy and Cody both work like heels in that matchup. Randy going for the punt, Cody using the ring post as to target Randy's back, and there was just a lot of aggression in that match. And of course, you can just throw it to boys being boys, and them being so desperate to get another shot at Cena's title at SummerSlam, and knowing the stakes and the King of the Ring finals, but. There was a lot, and then Cody's post-match promo with the whole yeah, I know a lot of your favorite characters are going up against me, but I'm going to put them in the dirt and to make sure to get what's mine, which is the ball back. And I'm like, whoa, that seemed like a different type of attitude from my boy Cody freaking Rhodes, King Cody.
And it's a good way to turn Cena face without doing, because as I was kind of saying, we're getting close to the promo where he's like, I changed my mind, I don't know what the promo would be. I'm just kind of, off the top of my head. But, I don't see how that's not going to be corny or how that's not going to be, so my point is them doing the turn in the match is a natural, organic, and not just he's just bullshitting on the mic. That doesn't mean anything. So if he's on the mic, it could just be I don't know. I don't think it's going to hit. But yeah, in the ring. Plus, when's the last time we got a double turn? When's the last time we got a turn in the ring in general?
I just immediately always compare it to the greatest of all time, which was Bret Hart for Steve Austin. With the double turn in that match. But then hear me out on this too. What was the initial mission statement of the final boss? He wanted Cody's soul. And then when now fast forward 6 or something so months later, where now Cody is so desperate to get back his world title from this heel Cena, where he goes to the dark side, not even to align himself with Dwayne Johnson, but more so Dwayne playing chess and Cody playing checkers is hey, I finally got that out of you. All it took was this whole Cena run, and you realizing you lost your dream, where then had to come to the dark side to reclaim your dream, and The Rock essentially getting what he wanted all the time, which was a Cody heel turn. So kind of a long ploy, long game scenario.
You know what? I don't disagree. I think you're the only person that's thinking that. I think you're the only person. Because story-wise, it makes sense. I just think The Rock is so we're done with The Rock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
But if you want to think about it like that, then yeah, sure, it is what The Rock at least wanted at first.
Because we never.
I just don't even think I want to give The Rock that much credit.
Sure,
you know what I mean? I don't want if The Rock's already no, fuck this, I don't care.
Oh, I'm not saying actually include The Rock in the thing, but kind of tying putting a tie on that story,
right.
And kind of we've seen it before where they kind of fall into storyline conclusions where this all worked out, where it's again Cena mentioned a few weeks ago, pivots and stuff like that. So maybe you can kind of just tell that story of Cena retiring finally as a good guy, and then now you have the heel champion Cody, and then I would say so
beautiful. in that match you do the double heel turn, and then because I do think Cena's going to drop it at SummerSlam.
Me too.
So you think you do the double heel turn, heel Cody wins it. And then
imagine a bloody Cena.
And then where does Cena go from there between August to December? Because if he's maybe he's trying to get it back and go for 18, and then ultimately fails and then goes out looking at the lights. I don't think
we have much after SummerSlam, and then we kind of lead up to his last match, and which will probably be against the heel Cody. Maybe in Boston, Saturday night's main event, December. Because again, I think the number is 13 dates. So then, SummerSlam leading up SummerSlam, that's maybe 1 or 2 dates. So then you're down to 11 by SummerSlam, and then that's 10, and then you only have 10 left. You're not going to be feuding. I don't know what pay-per-views are after SummerSlam, but I'm sure there's only a few left.
Yeah, that's 4 more months that you have,
and those times that we do get to see
Survivor Series. He'll probably do something in Survivor Series.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Maybe a WarGames match where it's not for the title. Maybe Team Cena versus Team Cody type thing.
It's kind of silly but fun. I like it. Wow.
Yeah, because that's been a big thing of contention too. Is this whole Survivor Series was announced and it's going to be War Games again, and how it's kind of you did the right thing, Triple H, getting rid of Hell in a Cell being October by default, but now it's you kind of booked yourself into a corner of like, now Survivor Series always has to be War Games. Is there a rivalry that really calls for that? I think that you can eventually get there and it'll be fun. But
well, I've been seeing some speculate, not to super jump around, but I've been seeing some speculation. I think I like this. Well, first of all, when they first announced Survivor Series, I believe they announced it or did the promo during Night of Champions, and on it there was no War Games tag. It just said San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Last night on Raw, War Games tag got added.
Oh,
you know. So, but I saw a theory which I think I like. Was Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce last night when they said that Roxanne can have the tag title.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to do a SmackDown team, a Raw team, NXT team at Evolution to get the titles. And then Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis kind of had a little thing. And Nick Aldis was like, look at us. We're on the same page. Isn't that great? And Adam Pearce was like, yeah, right. For now. So the speculation is we're leading, because if it seems like now that they added that War Games tag, it seems like we're guaranteed War Games again. But to change it up, and I kind of like this, could be doing a little SmackDown versus Raw War Games.
Not opposed to that.
Not opposed to that at all.
Do it right, it can be really good. Add something, reward for that match, whether it be, is it 4 vs. 4, the final 4 entries in the Royal Rumble, or like guaranteed title shots for the winning team, because expecting wrestlers to just randomly have allegiance to their roster, which again,
especially these days,
which I mean, even you go the last few weeks where it's been all over the place. Everyone's been challenging for different titles and been on both shows, so maybe the draft's coming up.
Even if they just really tag it as like Team Pierce versus Team Aldis, and it's really run by like the general managers, however much you want to lean on SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah, which they have been for the King of the Ring crownings. Both GMs were in the ring, which I like was a good thing. So they have been doing little such, and then also too, just both those guys are great authority figures.
They are. They really are.
So maybe I would love to see something like that along the lines. SmackDown vs. Raw War Games, hell yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we can jump back to what we were talking about with Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton. We kind of already talked and speculated about Randy, but Randy Orton, King of the Ring. I did see a photo. We didn't see it on stream, but I did see a photo of him wearing the crown, which was huge. Looked great. It was very big, which I think was the reason why people weren't wearing it.
We marked out when Jade finally
put it on.
It was like, put it on. Yeah, so maybe they just didn't want to show it on TV because it does look a little silly, but I thought Cody looked okay.
Loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I think Cody Randy was a fun match. Like you were saying, they really kind of hammered it up. It was way more intense and brutal. I loved the whole mentor-mentee thing. Them both, like Cody trying for the whatever the fuck the move's called that Randy does when he grabbed the spinning body slam sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And then couldn't hit it. Randy hits it. Randy going for the punt, doesn't do it. Good stuff. Randy King of the Ring. Cody King of the Ring. Makes sense. Like I said, we kind of already talked and speculated a little bit, but if there's anything else you have on it.
I think though, if we do move forward and say Cody does, get his title back at SummerSlam, Cody and Randy ain't done by a long shot. That's a feud that you can steal 3 pay-per-views worth of Cody versus Randy and have it be exciting and fun.
Especially, I think like if Cena gets if Cody gets the title back at SummerSlam, just so because I feel like Cena's gonna take a break. So one, like you were saying, to save the dates and whatever. During that time, like 100% lean into heel Cody versus face Randy. It's what we've all been wanting. And then you can still have face Randy while still being like that aggressive. I hear voices, I kick people's head off. Randy. But yeah, 100%. There's so much there left on the table. They have to explore that. I fully agree.
I wouldn't even hate maybe do a little hot potato with the title and maybe have Cody drop it to Randy for maybe a month or two and then Cody get it back. And then, of course, Cody being such a main time player and the kind of arguably this being his generation, you'd like to see him kind of get up there in amounts of world title wins too.
Sure.
So have
the stats
being a 3-time world champion is definitely better than being a 1-time world champion.
Sure.
So. And then, of course, Randy, too. It wouldn't hurt to have him add another, 15th world title reign. So
they did mention during the Cena match, they were like, the only wrestler active right now that's even remotely close is Randy Orton with 14. Maybe they pad the stats for Randy a little bit, and Randy's going for, I don't know. 14's not that far away from 17.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think it was the right decision. It made sense. Maybe to your... credit, like you kind of said about the Cena Punk thing. A little predictable, it's Cody, but yeah, I had a lot of fun during this match.
Hell yeah.
We'll go over, since we're talking Queen and King of the Ring. Jade Cargill defeats Asuka to become the Queen of the Ring, and she will go on to face whoever has it, but right now Tiffany Stratton has it. I believe that's kind of the direction over there on SmackDown, whether Tiffany has it or not. But Jade Cargill will go on to SummerSlam for the world title. You still have Naomi sniffing around. But yeah, this is, I mean, I know you are over the moon for this.
Yes.
I'm very happy Jade got it. A little controversial on my part, but you can kind of sing the praises, and we'll kind of get into it if you would like.
Queen Jade, it's written in the stars. This woman looks like an actual queen of a planet of muscle mommies, and it's just great. This match, I wish it was longer. It was a very shorter match. The story they were telling though was definitely once Jade hit her finisher, it was a wrap. I think Asuka avoided it twice, and then but once she hit it, it was over. Botch pin, but I guess that's like a tradition in King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. Going back to last year with Gunther and Randy. Here's the thing though, as a huge Jade stan, I'm really hoping that Naomi cashes in before Jade's title match and Naomi becomes champion. We got a Naomi versus Jade SummerSlam match. Although I don't think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do Jade versus Tiffany. Jade might win, and then Naomi cashes in and ruins my first Jade World title reign, which would put me to tears, but also would be great storytelling. So
regardless, we're getting something with Naomi in that briefcase, like 1,000%. Here's the thing. Jade looks great with it. Jade I'm always defending Jade. I think Jade improves match over match, right? Sure, there are still some slips. The pin was pretty tough. At the end of the day, though, she did defeat Asuka. It's like a level, and I mean this with all due respect, it's a level 3 beating a level 15.
Yeah.
And it's just like, in ring wise, you could really tell that, these two are not on the same playing field at all. Which I know that, like, this is where you gotta kind of like understand you're watching wrestling, right? We're like, us as like fans, and fans that even extend to like analyzing matches and like whatever, but it's not always, and I think I'm just kind of having this conversation with myself to cope, but it's in WWE history, it's not always who is the most impressive in-ring talent, right? It is mainly story, it is mainly characters, and the character of Jade beat Asuka, where now, if this match was happening in a different company, I think the result would be different. But it's so I don't know. Not that I don't like the decision.
Yeah.
I just maybe wish Jade Cargill was facing someone else.
No, it's tough. To see, especially the whole Queen and King of the Ring tournament. You would want your best in-ring wrestler to kind of always come out on top and kind of showcase, the reward of being the best in-ring wrestler equates to this crown. I'd even seen too, like someone saying the last 3 Queen of the Rings, it's kind of always like the not as good technical wrestler winning. But yeah, the story was kind of, even Asuka mentioned on SmackDown, like she said, power isn't all that, and I think that's what the story was. It was power versus technical gifts, experience, all that stuff, and power came out on top, which is sometimes how it just goes, my friend.
So.
But yeah, here's the thing though. I still think we're probably going to get Asuka versus Io Sky at some point, although Evolution was announced. There is a new challenger for Io Sky's world title, which worries me quite a bit. But Asuka and Io Sky ain't going nowhere, hopefully, and we'll get that dream match at some point, hopefully for the world title. Maybe not, because considering Mommy has that.
I didn't even think of that. Match. That was my whole, because I did pick Jade Cargill in the predictions, and that was my whole thing, is like, you don't need Asuka winning Queen of the Ring to get to Asuka Io. But yeah, and then again, it was, I guess we can just if we're talking about, we can get right into it anyways. It's the same world title picture. But yeah, last night on Raw, where Ripley's out there, she's chit-chatting, Io Sky comes out, which, like, yeah, she hasn't defended the title since WrestleMania. She wants to, though. She's coming out. The challenger doesn't even need to challenge her. She's going to come out and be like, I'm picking you, brother.
I love that move. I thought that made Io look more aggressive and more
I want to pick the best, so
yes.
I'm picking Rhea Ripley. I like the bit of Rhea Ripley just being like, hey, like, we're friends. If you want this, like, you want this, but just know, if this is the match you're picking me, whatever I do, you asked for it.
Right.
And Io just still $1 million smile, just like, all right,
Highly considering learning Japanese, just so when she does go into the Japanese part of her promo, I understand it and could pop even more.
So it does. I do feel bad where she does which I love when she goes into the Japanese part of her set or promos, whether she's just repeating what she said in English or not. I'm not really sure, but she does always kind of have to get the crowd to play because everyone's like, we don't know Japanese in Pittsburgh. But
trust me, I'm spitting.
yeah. Am I nervous for Evolution? I think Io should win. Rhea Ripley is gonna win that match.
I actually don't think so. I think the fact of this would be her first title defense since Mania.
Unfortunately,
you have to have her beat Rhea
I
Ripley,
agree. I agree, brother.
But I hear what you're saying. Rhea Ripley is Hulk Hogan incarnated. No, I'm joking. But that statistic what we saw at Night of Champions where they do those lower third graphics, which I love, by the way. Keep those stats coming. I love knowing that Solo Sikoa is undefeated in Saudi Arabia, vice versa. But not vice versa, etc. But yeah, Rhea Ripley was 33-3 in her last 36 matches, something like that. So woo! I would expect that the betting lines would be pretty even between those two iconic women's wrestlers. So
I'm gonna be rooting for Io. I think Io should win. I just see some writing on the wall, which is if they didn't have anything for Io for the past, I don't know, April, May, June, July, 2 or 3 months, they might just be doing a little bit of a reset. I hate to call it a reset. It's the wrong word for it, but just put it on Rhea. I don't know. I talked about I have a Yays and Booze episode coming out for Raw this morning. And I talked about how
New Day?
No, how different the Liv, which it sucks to talk about, but Liv's injury seems like it might have derailed a lot. I'm not even confident. The rumor was that it was going to be Liv versus Io at Night of Champions. I'm not even confident Io would retain at Night of Champions now. Now looking at what's happening, because imagine Liv Io at Night of Champions, Liv gets it. You go into Liv versus Rhea at Evolution, and that Io and Rhea have history, chemistry, and story and friendship, but Liv and Rhea have this most recent story, this almost blood feud at this point. They can revisit now for the title. It's on Liv's shoulder, doing that Evolution on the main event. So that seems like
that would make sense.
And I'm just this is me speculating, so who knows what the actual plan was. However, it does kind of seem like they were just oh, now we do not have someone for Rhea, Io, and Nikki Bella for that matter. So yeah, which I'm not mad we're getting this match. These two have great chemistry. They've had fantastic matches in the past. I think it'll be great. I am just damn nervous for Io. That's my old thing.
But I can't blame them. If you're booking a women's only pay-per-view, you take your 1, take your 2.
Agreed.
Put them in the main event.
100%.
You can't go wrong.
100%. It's my GM bros booking, and I get it. However, Triple H wouldn't like it because it's face versus face.
Yeah, which, not to go into the next thing already. Are you ready to go to the next thing?
Sure, yeah.
To start off Monday Night Raw, we had the World Tag Team titles on the line, heel versus heel. Which I thought that was ballistic, but then you wouldn't know because the crowd was loving, by the end of the match, the Judgment Day. It was Day versus Day, New Day versus Judgment Day, and Finn Balor. You would have think this guy's prime John Cena the way the crowd is popping for him. A very good match. The match of the night, actually. Cool. I give it 4.
Oh, really?
I
had one more over it. But this was fantastic.
I think more so because it means how much the crowd was into it.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Xavier Woods stealing Flair's strut was insane. This is the New Day's second match since Mania. Not even title defense. Match.
Crazy.
Since WrestleMania, which I thought, what? Wow.
Which at least for them, they can kind of spin it and be like, oh, we're heels. We hate wrestling. But
they were on commentary for a lot of Monday Night Raws, which they were actually killed it out to the park and were very funny. But at the same time, it's that hearing that statistic of this is your second match since WrestleMania. Jesus Christ. Sweet Woods double stomp from the top rope onto JD. Very, very good. Heel versus heel was odd. But this match I thought was really good. Midnight Hour and kick out. Finn kicks out from the title shot. There was some cheating going on. Finn was over as hell. And then they win. They get the title win. The huge pop.
Yep.
And then what I thought was fantastic visual was then Dom came out, and then you got the Judgment Day full gold again.
Crazy
pyro going off, and a very special moment where I'm like, wow. What a moment to start off Raw. And then that made me think of okay. here's Finn Balor with the tag team titles again. I'm like, this seems kind of familiar. So then I'm going back to the tag team title history. They won, the Judgment Day did. They won the tag team titles in Pittsburgh, that's where Raw was last night. At Payback 2023, it was Finn and Damian.
Okay.
They lose it to Cody and Jay. They then get it back from them, and then they lose it to The Miz and Truth. They get him back from them, being Finn and JD, and then lose it to the War Raiders, and then the War Raiders obviously lost to New Day, and then here we are again with Finn and JD.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you only have 2.5 teams on Raw.
Absolutely, but hey, look at how good that match was. Let's start, putting some more tag teams in there. Let's start booking them. I mean, kudos to the SmackDown tag team division. They've kind of taken a turn for a little bit recently, but they still have a lot of teams, and they have been putting care into that division. Let's see the same concept for Raw's tag team division, or maybe combine the titles and just have because the women's tag team titles go cross brand. We'll just have one set of tag. I mean, it's kind of too late now because both these title designs are fairly new,
right?
And the tag team title history is already so complicated anyway, so maybe they probably won't do that. But man, great match.
So there's a lot to talk about here. Let's start off with I feel like the quicker discussion, because there's a lot I think to talk about with like Judgment Day and then Roxanne.
They were all over this episode.
Yeah. But so New Day in general, just losing them outright. Again, I used the word reset before. This really feels like a reset. How do we feel about Judgment Day losing them in what? Is this their first or second title defense? Technically, is it their first title, or not defense, but like title match since Mania?
I think they defended
one more, right?
They defended against the Viking Raiders.
In a rematch. Okay,
but
yes, you're right.
But that was their only match since Mania.
Yep. Okay,
crazy.
Still, so yeah. To me, heel New Day started off hot with the Big E segment, then really kind of floundered, and then I think them getting the titles at 40 off the War Raiders was a good okay, cool, heel New Day hasn't been super connecting. Maybe with the titles, it kind of gives them some more juice and kind of revitalizes them. And it worked for a couple weeks, and then we just kind of got to them not even being on TV and whatever. So I'm not surprised they lost it. I don't even think it's a wrong or bad decision, but it is just disappointing in general. Just damn, there was not much there for him, and I don't know. It stinks, but it's I get why if you're not doing anything with them, plant the titles on. And here's the thing: Finn and JD, they're going to defend those titles 2 months from now.
You think so?
They're not going to.
Oh man,
those titles are parked at Judgment Day. This is my take on it. The only reason that the New Day lost those titles is so they could just park them with Judgment Day, so they wouldn't have to worry about them, because they're just going to be used as accessories for Judgment Day. Because we saw that image backstage where Roxanne, Raquel, Finn, JD, and Dom all had gold. It's a thing to be like, oh, while Liv's gone, look what I did. I brought in Roxanne, and I'm Finn Balor, and I should be a leader because everyone has gold. They are not going to defend those titles. Unfortunately, I'm saying all this, and unfortunately, this is kind of my pessimistic glass half empty look at it.
What other teams could they? I mean, I know American Made are going to probably.
Yep, there was a little bit of sprinkling there.
But other than that, what other face tag teams are there? There aren't any. So they're definitely. We need to do something with this tag team division, and I'm not sure what. But like you said, I think you're right. They're props for the Judgment Day. And speaking of the Judgment Day and tag team titles, Finn kind of taking charge and making sure, being the one to say, hey. GMs, give the tag team titles to Raquel and Roxanne.
Yep.
Congrats to them. But then right after that, it was announced that it was going to be a 4-way at Evolution, a tag team from Raw, tag team for SmackDown, tag team from NXT. John.
Oh, we picking?
Yeah, we're picking. Who's going to be in that match?
Do you have anything in mind? I need some time to pick. Okay.
So I think Raw, the tag team is going to be Natalya and Maxine Dupree. SmackDown will be Charlotte and Alexa. And then NXT, I really don't freaking know. I remember I did a kind of a post-Raw live stream randomly last night, and someone suggested Sol Ruka and Zaria, which I didn't know they were a tag team.
Yeah, they've been a tag team for a minute.
So maybe that's the three I'm picking. The three other teams in that match I'm picking.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, this has been the problem with tag team divisions in general, but especially the women's tag team division is who are the tag teams, right?
Yes.
Those are probably the picks, right? I don't think I think maybe for NXT, you could even just go Fatal Influence.
Ooh, true.
Unfortunately, God, I would love. I forget what their tag team name was, but unfortunately, they're split up. Like Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson were fantastic as a team, but unfortunately, they're broken up. I believe one got let go, one got released. Yeah. I think
Nikita Lyons and someone recently came together.
We're on what, Evolve?
I think so. Yeah, hey, there's nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing wrong with Evolve. I mean, I don't know if I have other picks. I just can't think of what other teams.
It's tough. And then the thing is, Alexa and
there's
Charlotte
a reason
aren't
they're
even tag team yet.
but there's a reason that they're kind of grouping those two together, right?
Yeah.
They I think Alexa even teamed, right, or teased that we should team up or be buddies or
be acquaintances.
Some shit.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a hot take or something like
Regardless,
that.
Regardless, though, I do hope Roxanne and Raquel retain because I think they're kind of still the most legit tag team on the roster, and then I think that could be a good first showing for them. Mm-hmm. And then congrats to Roxanne. The Judgment Day then voted to which again. Dom was very hesitant. I think he said he wanted to ask Liv first, and then Finn was be a man and
make your own decision.
Make your own decision. So
okay.
It was a unanimous vote. Did Raquel vote, or she kind of made a face the whole time, but then said like, "Hey, Roxanne, hold your own" type.
I think
thing.
She kind of just went like, "Fine, sure, fine."
If that means I got to keep my tag team titles, sure, yeah. Which again. Kind of wish she won at Night of Champions versus Rhea Ripley. I mean, you had Roxanne come in and cheat for them, and you still couldn't get a win over Rhea Ripley. Great match, though. Fun match. The chains and whips excite me. That table spot was pretty crazy, although I thought they were going to bump on the table, not kind of jump off from the top rope. But very fun match.
I don't know if they were doing a brain buster.
My heart, I legit almost pooped my pants. It was a very high-risk spot. Probably my second or third, probably my third favorite match of that night at Champions. Second being Punk and Cena, first being Randy and Cody. But the Judgment Day dripped out in gold all over this episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have like the Rhea Raquel match. I mean, we see kind of the aftermath of it, which was just like, I guess it kind of earned Rhea the number one contendership. Raquel looked great. I think these two have great chemistry. It was nice to kind of see like, I don't know, two women they're kind of like the heavyweights of this division, the two bruisers, the two brawlers. They're both, really tall. They kind of match each other. So I feel like a lot of times you kind of do the giant versus cruiser, match with Raquel and or Rhea. They pulled out some trash cans. They pulled out some kendo sticks. It was a fun time. I like that match a lot.
Hell yeah.
So we can even go on to
meat.
It depends. If you want to stay on Raw or you want to finish up Night of Champions, there's still some stuff on Night of Champions.
We did have a new United States champion in Solo Sikoa.
Yes, we did.
Kind of my favorite part of that was because he helped me retain the SCW Championship. You went 6 confidence points in Jacob Fatu.
I thought he had it.
I get it. And I see a lot of people very upset that Jacob has already lost the United States Championship. But guess what? Jacob Fatu, and that's not to disrespect the United States Championship because it is a prestigious title. Jacob Fatu has bigger and better things on the horizon. Whether that horizon is a bit further away, sure, probably is, but I think we're gonna get a rematch, him for Solo for the title at SummerSlam, and then of course this match had a lot going for it. The GOAT has returned, Tonga Loa, and then we got a new boy in the Bloodline Reloaded. It being I'm calling him Tall Tonga. I don't care. I'm calling him Tall Tonga.
Well, I think I heard a report or a rumor that they are changing his name. So his name is
Tala.
I think Tala Tonga or some shit.
Tonga Challenge, go.
Tonga Challenge?
Name the Reloaded Bloodline. Go. Because Michael Cole can't.
Tonga, Tonga Loa, Tala Tonga, Soul Sikoa. That's it? Is there four? Am I missing someone?
No.
Missing someone?
I don't think so. I hope not.
I think that's, Cole, tough call by Cole. He's like Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Tala.
His brother.
They're brothers.
Oh, that was so funny.
But yeah, it does. As much as I did want Jacob to win, it does. Like, if Jacob lost this, this seems like they're still gonna do this feud into SummerSlam. Maybe incorporate Jimmy a little bit more.
Also, maybe Damian too. Damian Priest, because remember Damian and Jacob had a stare down, and he's kind of, I don't want to say the word floundering, but I can definitely see like they did on Backlash and incorporate a multi-man scenario. But yeah,
either way, it's like if Jacob won, then it's like what, like it's like how you getting back to that Solo match?
Yeah.
So like Solo kind of did need to win in hindsight to continue the Jacob Solo feud, whether you add someone in or not. But I think whatever happens, I think Jacob will probably win the U.S. title back and eventually lose it when it's time to kind of graduate to the main title scene. But
because he's headed to the main title scene eventually. Solo, on the other hand, I don't think so. But he needs to really have a prove yourself reign with this United States Championship with good character work. Of course, he has the Reloaded bloodline backing him up. I think it's really important for him, given how much he's been given since he debuted on the main roster. And his place in history, it's really important for him to really show out and have a strong U.S. title reign. Compared to Jacobs, which is pretty short, but again, Jacobs is a freaking star. He doesn't really need that title right now because I think he's going into bigger and better things. But I'm really curious to see and looking forward to see how Solo Sikoa starts to grow, and personally too, not to discredit him or whatever, but I think also in ring, I need to see some better matches from Solo.
See, I don't know if you're getting that, not the better match part, but like I do think Solo's gonna hold it till SummerSlam, and I think it gets back on Jacob at SummerSlam.
Really?
So I think we're doing a month of him just like holding it and dangling over him. But I don't think, because if Jacob was like graduating right now, then like sure.
Yeah.
But I do think he's just so ingrained in this. I don't know.
Well, that's what the mid-card titles are for, to kind of, go back and forth. You don't need long, crazy reigns. You can do these hot potato and have big moments. Again, also not to get too sidetracked, also shout out new Women's United States Champion, Giulia. We didn't talk.
On SmackDown.
So much going on. I thought I'd give her a shout out and congratulate Giulia on the new Women's United States Championship.
Yeah, I was surprised with the result, but like I just wasn't expecting a title change on the SmackDown before Night of Champions.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, I've been a Zelina defender, which I can also fully admit that she hasn't really been given too much opportunity to defend it, and whatever. I'm glad she had it. She deserved it.
Agreed.
I don't know if she's graduating to the main title scene. I hope she kind of at least stays in the mid card if they don't know what to do with her. But
I'd like to see her former tag team, Zelina.
Oh yeah, I think you were saying that on the stream. Yeah, that'd be cool. But Giulia is gonna take this division, to the next spot.
Let's see some matches week after week and have her just show out, because I think we kind of alluded to in weeks past. Like I feel like the crowd isn't really connecting with Giulia because again, I'm sure this crowd isn't familiar with Stardom. So
I will say, as you know me, I'm a big Giulia fan. I hope she kind of gets a little more comfortable because admittedly, her matches on main roster haven't been the best, and I think there's been a lot of like, I don't want to use the term botch, but like this communication issues that would lead to like just kind of an awkward bump or just like someone not doing what they should or timing issues. So. And it's not to discredit Giulia. I think she's one of the most talented in the world right now, but there just kind of has been seemingly some sort of misconnection or whatever.
Lack of chemistry.
Maybe lack of chemistry, maybe just lack of, like I said, communication or just, something not clicking where maybe she's nervous, maybe something, So I hope, I'm hoping with this U.S. title run, she kind of gets more matches and things kind of go a little bit smoother. But yeah, like I said, regardless, I'm hyped for Giulia. I'm hyped for the future of that division.
Yeah. Sorry to get sidetracked, but to wrap up Jacob and Solo, I do think though, because again, you've mentioned Jimmy a few times, he's been involved in this rivalry. I have to feel like they're gonna tell a story of like, Jacob's outnumbered considering how much of his family members are on the other side of things. So it's gonna be Jacob, Jimmy versus those 3 or 4 or 5 other family members. I think there has to be a cavalry, and who's kind of free right now is a certain Yeet Man.
Sure, yeah.
Like maybe even up the odds. Yeah. Maybe you have the face not former bloodline, but face Fat Twos versus the heel Reloaded bloodline. I think eventually down the line.
Sick.
But yeah, I think that's going to be something to look forward to.
My prediction for this Friday SmackDown though, which also SmackDown going back 2 hours. Woo! I'm predicting we're gonna get Jacob and Jimmy versus. Do we get Solo and Tala? Maybe Tala and Tongaloa, the two returns. That could be it. That's my prediction for the SmackDown, classic SmackDown tag team match this Friday.
I think it's a safe bet.
All right, so we got the US, we got Jamie, we got Solo. All right, let's wrap up Night of Champions and kind of fully dive into the rest of Raw. But we have Sami Zayn defeating Karrion Kross. How you feeling about it? The internet is really upset. What are we? Where are we at?
I thought it was a fine match. I do feel a little silly.
Crazy.
Yeah, I feel a little silly picking Karrion to win that match, given how over Sami Zayn is in Saudi Arabia and how that probably wasn't ever in the cards. Karrion did get his lick back on Monday Night Raw and attacked Sami backstage. I think it's definitely interesting thinking, where you're going with this, with Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. What else can you really do now that Sami's beaten Karrion Kross? But maybe it still coincides with Sami eventually turning heel. I don't really know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they did, like you said, they did have him attack. I thought we were just past it. Like I thought that was kind of be the blow off match, and you move on to something where both guys. I don't know.
Maybe another rematch and get Kross a win finally.
Yeah, maybe they split. They go. Well, I don't know if that'd be 1-1. I don't know if they're past matches, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't think Karrion was gonna win. It's a tough position. Obviously, they're in Saudi. That's like Sami's gonna win there. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't have too much else to say about Sami Karrion. Just kind of fine match. Sami looked good. Karrion looked good. Karrion proved for some reason, what was going on the internet, that he couldn't take a bump. I don't. It's just like I don't know.
The sickos making Karrion Kross bump compilations is just unreal. Like the fact that little tidbit got reported as actual wrestling news, and then people took it upon themselves to be like, "See, he does take weird bumps from his matches at Main Event." Like Jesus Christ, man, the internet is insane sometimes, but. I mean, again, Karrion's been kind of, very much over with a certain part of the wrestling fan base, and he's got this moment, and
they'll have a new guy next month.
They will. I mean, that's always the thing. Even like R-Truth, his momentum has kind of seemingly started to disperse a little bit.
I think I'm not going to do the due diligence to find it, but I think on a podcast we did 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think I went on my little rant of saying like, great. Give me 3 or 4 weeks and no one's going to give a shit.
Right.
No one's going to be cheering for him. No one's going to be whatever.
He's feuding with Aleister Black now, which is interesting. And then I've seen reports too Aleister Black's going to be getting a big singles push, which I think would be really cool. And I think he's a really talented wrestler, really cool character. Looking forward to that. But yeah, it's definitely, I think you were right on the whole.
Call me crazy.
The internet finds a new darling every other week.
All right, let's go to That's Night of Champions. Solid show. Nothing crazy. Let's go over to just some meat, some sweaty meat slapping, baby. My favorite match of the night, Sheamus versus Rusev. Arguably maybe one of my favorite matches of the year. Mm-hmm. This shit rocked. Yep. They went for so long. Sheamus was drenched in sweat. I like the statistic Cole said. I think the last time they faced one-on-one was like 2016, 2013, something like that. Sheamus has never defeated Rusev. I think Rusev is 2-0 or 3-0 against Sheamus. Really good storytelling. We are not nearly done with this feud, but this was awesome. This is it's what Sheamus needed to kind of still be like, hey, I'm still the fucking guy. It's what Rusev needed even more to kind of be like, he did his thing with Otis and Tozawa, whatever. This was the match to be like, oh, this is who we have now, right?
Yes.
They beat the shit out of each other. You can tell how much respect these two had for each other. The fact they just want to go out there and like, hey, let's go fucking crazy. It's great. I loved it. I love how much they treat Sheamus these days. It's been this case for like a handful of years now. But back when Sheamus was first debuting and it's first little run, even when he was world champion, they never really tagged him as this monster, right? They never tagged him as oh, he's this giant and he's a little big guy, whatever. And maybe it's due to the fact that wrestling has just gotten smaller in terms of like sizes. So like he has just kind of become a bigger guy because people around him has gotten smaller. But I love that over the past handful of years, Sheamus now feels like a monster. That when his music hits, it's like, oh shit, Sheamus is coming out. And to my knowledge, maybe that's revisionist history, but I don't think that was always the case. I'm glad it is now.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about this match? Where are we going from here? Talk to me.
This match is for me, and this is not to discredit other wrestlers, but I love when wrestlers look like wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, back in my day, you know, they were on the substance, whatever. These guys look like monsters. They look larger than life. Even if these two are pretty good wrestlers, but even if they weren't, you know, the greatest in-ring wrestlers, I'm still into it because wow, these are larger than life characters. Big men meat slapping meat, all that stuff. I love it. The crowd kind of, I was a bit disappointed. They were kind of quiet for bits and parts of this match. I was a bit disappointed. That's why compared to the tag team match, they were on fire. This match, I was a little disappointed. Shocking League of Nations mentioned on commentary, even name dropping Del Rio, which like, whoa.
Oh, did that? I didn't catch that. That's funny.
And then Cole turned into a thing of like, that group ended with them turning on Wade Barrett because he was a bum, which I thought was great. You know, little some Wade Barrett shade there. But this match was a lot of fun. Rusev, man, like I made that meme the other day of like, you know, they do not want Rusev Day to come back with like the crowd chants and like him saying that. So when he goes for the accolade, Rusev goes, Rusev over.
Oh, funny.
Which I thought was like, I'm like, I don't know, say something else. I didn't like that part, but I love the accolade and the finish too. Sheamus going for the white noise to the floor. Rusev gets out. Rusev rakes the eyes, removes the turnbuckle bracket cover thing.
Yeah.
Pulls Sheamus into
creative.
it. Very creative.
Never seen something like that.
Well, we kind of saw a little bit at Night of Champions in the Cody Randy match. Not the same part.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, different part
of it, but very similar. So I kind of my mind went there. But again, it's a separate show, so I'm not too upset with that. But I did kind of be like, But then Rusev connects with that Machka kick and for the win. Love it.
Huge.
You know what you do? Best of 7.
Sure.
Have the 7 game go to a draw and then make a tag team. Call them the bar.
Mm-hmm. They call them the bar. Yeah.
Because that's how Cesaro and Sheamus ended up.
Even if this just goes to like a last man standing or something like that. Like I feel like that because like there was even Rusev got back in the ring toward the end of it at a 9 count, which like kind of always makes you lead to like, ooh, could do a last man standing. Yeah. Could do a they could do so many of these like. You know, I don't know. You could do I don't know if a street fight works, but maybe even just like a no holds barred or like, I don't know. Not that there's a difference between those two matches. But,
you know, the story too that we're kind of telling is like Sheamus is kind of standing up for the
little guy.
To the little guy and standing up against the bully. Guy, Maybe Rusev kind of knocked some sense into him with this match, and maybe Rusev can be like, hey, let's instead of you taking L's for these losers, why don't we converge and like kind of run back not League of Nations, but maybe just Sheamus and Rusev as a tag team, and maybe they can just dominate. That's another thing they can go with too, I think. Because again, like you said, Sheamus is now built as a monster who's also a monster, Rusev, and I think 2 monsters, would be it kind of just makes sense for a team. But this was a lot of fun.
I hope we get something fun between them at SummerSlam.
Sure, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, a last man standing match would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to go to? We have some El Grande stuff. You want to brush everyone up on that?
Yeah. So Chad Gable's injured. It's very unfortunate. But luckily El Grande Americano's fine. He kind of showed up and seemed to be kind of possibly alluded to being the new leader of American Made, which I think is a match made in heaven. It's a shame that we never got an El Grande versus Chad match, but I was looking forward to El Grande, and I was happy to see him. And
See, I don't know what you're talking about, because I think right now is the highest likely that we're gonna have El Grande versus Chad. We're getting El Grande versus Chad, baby.
No, Chad's injured. So
he's not injured forever.
Well, hopefully not.
I'm saying.
We're not, because Chad and El Grande, they've been friends for a long time, so they're not going to go against each other. Are you kidding me? They like each other.
But the new El Grande is going to start leading American Made. Current El Grande.
What are you talking about?
Have you seen Materialists?
No, I haven't.
This isn't a spoiler, but they talk about this procedure. It's a true procedure where guys can fly to whatever the fuck country, and you get you can get taller. They basically break your legs and put like metal in them, and you become taller.
So I
think that might be what happened to El Grande.
I will give you that.
He looks different.
He did look a little different.
He's hitting the gym.
He definitely.
God forbid.
I mean, I don't know if it's about hitting the gym because he's always been in shape, but he definitely may have some stilts built into. He did look a little taller all of a sudden. Very interesting. And then too, I noticed randomly too, Ludwig Kaiser was lurking behind in the shadows previously in other segments. So I wonder what he's doing lurking around in the back. That's very interesting. But yeah, El Grande maybe running American Made makes complete sense. Very unfortunate timing of this injury from Chad, but I cannot say I'm surprised given his match with Vikingo and other times where he's been just dropped on his neck and shoulders. So
I think what it was in that segment last week with Ludwig, Ludwig. Entering Penta snapped the arm. That's what it was. That was the shoulder as he snapped the shoulder.
Yes, absolutely. So gonna miss Chad, but we still have American Made. Pushed Ivy Nile. Push her.
Yeah, she was like the leader of American Made for like 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, Grande showed up and then just kind of walked away. But American Made looked very surprised. I'm breaking the whole shtick. I'm very curious to see if Chad kind of like paid Ludwig to be El Grande.
So, and be honest with me here.
Yeah.
You can't. So this is open space. Yeah. Did you know who that was when he was on camera? When El Grande came on camera, did you know who that was? Yeah. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
I was like, who is that? Yeah. I'm man enough to admit I didn't connect the Kaiser dots.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is that? And I went on Twitter and then I instantly saw like Kaiser. I was like, oh, he's fucking tall. So, he's tall. He's big. He's
after the initial Chad Gable talking to American Made segment, I noticed Ludwig in the background. I had then responded to someone named Erin on Twitter. So she tweeted out like, "Oh, so this is going to mean El Grande is going to be played by someone else, isn't it?" And then I did make a edit of Ludwig in a El Grande mask, only for like 30 seconds later from them to do the segment of him showing up as Americano. Yeah. So I did see it coming a little bit. But I am interested to see.
I do think, like you said, story breaking, whatever. I do think we are getting El Grande versus Chad. I think that's going to be the whole thing. Or El Grande versus El Grande.
This is why El Grande should have won Money in the Bank. Because imagine if El Grande won Money in the Bank, they're doing the whole thing of like, Chad can't cash in.
Oh, right.
But then Chad gets injured, and now El Grande is still Money in the Bank with Ludwig as, El Grande, but then Chad's like, well, don't cash in because that's not actually you.
Right.
So, but I think you're right though. This is now leading to when Chad does hopefully come back. We get a El Grande.
I don't even think he's really injured. I think
he's really injured.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was. In my head, I think that's just. Who knows? Yeah, you're right. He did have like the Vikingo match. But in my head, it was like it was a classic like Chad Gable excuse where he's like, I'm hurt because they did because it seemed pretty convenient. They did the Penta arm snap last week, and now he has a broken shoulder. So I don't know.
I think that was storyline to kind of get him off TV. I think he actually did have surgery. I think it was
really
reported. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen anything like that, but that's good to know.
Yeah.
Damn, that stinks. So
it does stink.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So I think this is a kind of a good pivot, kind of a fun pivot, and then eventually we'll get maybe when Chad is healthy, him versus El Grande, which I think will be a banger
for leader American Made. I do like meanwhile like when he was like, Ivy's the lead, he's like, hey, you two, prove that you're a good tag team. Basically, it's like, yeah, fucking please, Jesus
stop
Christ,
talking about potential and just do it,
All right, that's that. What else happened? What else we had?
We had Gunther running down Goldberg. Pretty good promo, but then that led into Seth Rollins coming out, him explaining like, the whole CM Punk thing with like, I went to Saudi Arabia just to prevent that, not to cash in. But then reminded us that he wants to torture both world champions, which like I thought contradicted himself. Thoughts on Seth's new briefcase?
I did respond to your tweet at Yays and Booze.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think you said it stinks, right?
It spells out.
I need to look at it again.
Money. Well, no, in the bank. Because he put the Seth Rollins S on the O.
Stop it.
So I read it as in the bank.
No, you don't.
I do. That's how my brain works. You don't know how my brain works. I know how my brain works, and I can't say certain words like El Dago Fantasma, but it is what it is. And I think it's kind of silly. And then like, how come he didn't have this briefcase already? How come you don't? How come you don't have a name for your freaking faction yet? Which bothers me. But he did mention something about a plan B later in the show, which like. what does that mean? This whole Plan B thing? Because I guess Seth had already left before the main event started, and Paul said it's for the Plan B. So then I started thinking, like, is Seth going to go to NXT and do kind of like a flirty kind of cash into the NXT champion, or maybe recruit? Because I know there's been a lot of talks about him getting Ethan Page or maybe Ricky Saints into his faction. So that's something to really look forward to. And then maybe, hopefully, once that's complete, the faction that is, we'll get a name. Because I need a freaking name for this faction. Because other than that, I'm kind of cooling down on this faction. Once the turn happened at Mania with Heyman and Seth Rollins, I was all in on Seth Rollins. Since then, it's kind of dwindling down a little bit. And again, he's a heel, so it's good that I'm not rooting for him. But, man.
So I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I think they have a name. I think they secretly have a name. This is my maybe little tinfoil hat. I don't know if you're gonna like the name because I don't like it. The Future.
Oh, the Future. I don't mind it. It's better than the Seth Riders because people are now naming it themselves and kind of doing an AEW dig with the Death Riders. So like, the Seth Riders, the Future.
The only reason I say that is because one, Seth and all the promos, like their whole thing is that we are the future of wrestling. We're gonna take it over, and whatever. On Braun Breaker's ass in his singlet, it says the Future on it.
Oh.
So I don't know. That's just my I could not be. Maybe that's what they're just like soft launching the name. But
I don't mind that name. I guess any name at this point because like I'm tired of calling them Seth's faction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yeah, I new briefcase, no name yet. But
I think I just I'm not in love with the briefcase. Honestly, the green one I think looks better than this, but I think I'm just a sucker for a custom briefcase. Yeah. So I'm like any sort of the colorway looks matches.
And him. The original one did get dented at Night of Champions when he tried to hit it. I think with at Punk actually when he used it to hit Punk.
Which I was kind of hoping that they would keep. I think I said it on stream where it was very much like the one he had before. For the Heist of the Century cash in. I like when it's dented and gets some life in it, and it's like, this shit's been through some, whatever.
Yeah.
But so interesting segment as a whole. I mean, we're still leading up to. It's not much more to talk about what Gunther Goldberg did.
Yeah.
Like 5-minute video package hyping up Goldberg. You see all that?
Yeah,
that
pretty
crazy.
Cool song. I think it was a 3 Days Grace song they used. So that was pretty cool. I mean, nothing that we haven't seen before. Goldberg hype package. I definitely feel like there's definitely something to be said about it being his last match, and then Seth confronting Gunther. I think we might get a post-match Saturday night's main event. Goldberg spearing Gunther, resulting in an attempted cash-in, maybe an actual cash-in. This segment was a lot of fun though. Punk then comes out to beat up Seth Rollins, big pop. He runs away. Seth, that is, runs away into the crowd. And who comes right behind him? It pulls the Undertaker spot, Boneyard match. LA Knight,
Had some came out eating popcorn and with the classic.
It was a lot of fun. And then it was announced that they're going to have a one-on-one match, kind of no stakes on the line. LA Knight for Seth Rollins. I'm putting this tagline on this match. It's a must-win match for LA Knight. He has to win. I know this. It's this. The cards are stacked against him.
Yeah,
with Seth's faction, and of course Seth kind of being a better wrestler than LA Knight. But momentum wise, I need this for LA Knight. Big win on a very televised big show, and then they love to do this too. With even when Seth's cashing in WrestleMania 31, Seth lost early in the night to Randy Orton.
Right.
And then maybe I think we might get a cash in at Saturday's main event. But more importantly, I need a big win for LA Knight at Saturday's main event.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't hold your breath for a cash-in. Nothing happens on Saturday night's main event, as we know. But I think you're talking about cash-ins.
Yeah.
You're telling me Gunther's winning? We're having Goldberg win, and then Seth cashes in on Goldberg. Oh, you think Seth gets it? Failed cash.
Are you kidding? And then Goldberg just retires. Because that's the thing, too. I like
Goldberg pulls a John Cena.
And just retires the title.
/ CM Punk, sits on the barricade, blows a kiss to...
I would like them to say something like along the lines of this is for the World Heavyweight Championship, and we also are taglining it as Goldberg's last match. If Goldberg were to win, we're gonna do this.
I wish they would talk. Yeah, right. Yeah. I wish they would be like, hey, it's supposed to be his last match, whatever. But if he wins, then Goldberg will wrestle. You know what I mean?
Or we have a tournament leading up to SummerSlam or something. They also tease CM Punk versus Gunther at the end of this segment too, which I'm all for.
Yeah, there's a little bit
things going on.
A little bit of they're eyeing each other, and it seemed like almost like Gunther was kind of like respect, and then Punk just kind of shoves him to the ground.
Punk's gonna walk right by him, and then Gunther stopped him, kind of grabbed his arm and said, "Hey," and then Punk shoved him.
Yeah, right. See, I didn't think maybe I didn't I wasn't paying too much attention, but to me, I didn't think it was too aggressive of a. I thought it was maybe just like he did grab him. I thought it was kind of just like a, hey, what was that? It wasn't like aggressive. It was just like a, hey, man, and it was. Whoa!
Because I was laughing because while Seth and Punk were brawling, Gunther was just in the corner of the ring, kind of laughing look at these kids. And then Gunther was kind of waiting for Punk to stop looking at Seth, and then he was going to breeze right past him, grabbed his arm, and then Punk's like, "Get the hell off me!" And, which you do not want to just push the ring general to the ground. I think that's not a good move on Punk's part, but I love that match so much. I need Punk versus Gunther, whether it's for the world title or not, in my veins.
Yeah, I'm into that a lot.
Yeah.
I think to wrap up, we have Bayley Lyra.
Yeah, pretty fun number one contenders match. Lyra versus Bayley. Crowd again a little bit dead for this. I think they were tired, but it was good graps.
This was fun.
Lyra's swinging neck breaker at one point. Woof, very vicious, very quick. Bayley hit a standing switch. Bayley then goes for the rose plant. Lyra counters with a Nightwing attempt, and then they start exchanging pins, and the referee counts both their shoulders down, which I think I've seen some people saying kind of criticize this as the booking decision. I thought it was really good compared to a double countout, which kind of feels like they both lose compared to this double pin where it's they both won. And then of course just setting up a dream scenario match of triple threat at a seemingly Evolution. Becky versus Lyra versus Bayley for the IC title. It will bang. This match was good.
I agree. I don't have much else more to say about that than good match. Sure. The double shoulders down, I think can be a little corny and all right. I don't know. It seems these two are two of the, they're two veterans of this sport, and you're telling me they're doing a double whatever. But looking past that, which I don't even think is that big of a deal. If that means we're getting the triple threat, by all means. Which, speaking of, if we're kind of just talking about Evolution in general, we also got announced of a battle royal for battle royal for. There's so many. There's like at King of the Ring, if you win, you get a match at SummerSlam. Now at Evolution, if you win the Battle Royal, you get a Women's World Championship match at Clash in Paris.
Oh, they're booking that much ahead. God damn, that's crazy. I love that, though. I love that. Respect. See.
Clash in Paris is at the end of August. We have 2 PLEs in August.
Jesus.
I didn't know that was that close.
A lot of wrestling.
Yeah, TKO is $1 billion in debt. So.
Well, that would probably be 1 o'clock too, which is another fun thing. I love when that happens
for sure.
They never used to do that. Planning
I like
ahead.
it too.
Yeah, so they're respecting the viewer, they're respecting our intelligence and our ability to pay attention and remember things. So hell yeah, I love that. Who's gonna win that match? Stephanie Vicaire.
The Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Probably, right? Yeah, I'm not really too sure. Yeah, I'm curious to see once they kind of announce the participants.
Assuming she doesn't have a match on that card already. But yeah, I think she should win that Battle Royal.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, Women's World title.
I think so.
But I'm really curious then if it's so close to SummerSlam, because then you have Rhea Io at SummerSlam, and then 20-something days later.
Evolution? Rhea, Evolution,
yes.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, Evolution. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I got my
It's
shit.
so many.
Okay, wait a minute. There's so much happening. Oh my god, TKO is so in debt. Right. Okay, so you have Rhea Io at Evolution in not this coming weekend, but the weekend after.
Yep.
And then at that point, it'll be less than a month away. You got SummerSlam, and then 20 days from that, or so days, you got. Holy hell, that's crazy. A lot going on. With all that said, I don't feel too confident in Io. Unfortunately.
No.
I know. Believe me, I'm just as upset as anyone else. All right, was there anything else?
There was the main event, Penta and Sami versus Breaker and Bronson.
Which is just a fun, good match.
Good match. Yeah. A nice Arabian press to the floor. Ode to Sabu from Sami. Yep. Love to see that. Breaker hits the Frankensteiner. Reed follows up with a sit-down powerbomb. Very close pin. Sami then breaks it up. Followed by, I love that this finished the match. Crazy Braun Breaker spear. And then a rare time that I agree with you, Undertaker, no one else should be doing the spear ever again besides Braun Breaker, because that spear is deadly. Bronson and Breaker win the match, and then out comes Yeet Man for the save.
Yep.
Fun Monday Night Raw. Fun. I actually kind of had some low expectations a little bit given the card, but this was a phenomenal Raw. I had a lot of fun. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think there was like a ton of storytelling necessarily, but like, which there was, but like the matches, like Lyra Bayley was a lot of fun. My favorite were Rusev Sheamus. The tag match was great. The main event, well, sure, it was just like, it ended up being just a kind of a classic wrestling like tag team match to, you got like a little bit at the end, but like, at the end of the day, it was just a fun fucking bodies, bop, bop, bop,
Hell yeah.
I had a good time. I had a good time for sure. Sorry, just looking at some other stuff. Wow, KSI announces a DLC pack.
Oh boy.
Evolution 2 poster came out. Asuka's missing from it. That's but yep.
Wait.
Asuka's
that makes
not
no
on
sense. That makes no sense.
Kairi Sane's on it though, but no, which thank God because they got her doing. We had the promo last night of a Kairi Sane kind of return or whatever. But I don't know. Asuka's not
scary.
on the.
And there's so many women on that poster. Like why not Asuka? Oh,
you're telling me.
That scares me. I don't like that.
But yeah, so that's I think Monday Night Raw. I thought I had something else, but maybe not. I thought there was like one other thing announced. I was just kind of looking at the card for Evolution. So to look ahead though, big week, big pod next week, I believe. So if we're defending that title, or you're defending that title, I should say, for that whole weekend. Big predictions episode.
Oh my God.
That would be what? That's that all in Saturday's main event evolution predictions.
Oh my God.
That's massive.
Oh
So the
God.
entire episode next week will just be predictions.
Jesus.
And
Wow.
we'll kind of run that whole weekend. But yeah, so we're looking at some crazy stuff. And there's still gonna be stuff announced. Like Evolution is still like barely announced. Saturday's main event is like a handful of matches on there. The Saturday's main event is probably pretty much all wrapped up. Gonna be big.
Big Jim, big weekend. Gonna defend my title 3 times successfully.
Huge.
Never been done on the channel, I don't think.
That's true.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and I'm just honestly just looking forward to. I mean, we haven't really decided or talk off stream about which ones we are gonna be live streaming together and stuff like that. It's gonna be. Yeah, so I'm calling it the big weekend. It's gonna be a big weekend. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be probably an all-time weekend, given how big the event All In is, how historic Evolution 2 is.
I'm hyped for All In,
and then Goldberg.
Yeah,
so it's a lot going on.
I'm actually pretty excited. I'm in the camp of I'm excited to see what happens.
It's his last match.
Yeah.
F yeah. Let's see what happens.
All right, folks, please head over to patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling if you want to hear us chat a little bit more. Let's see how many questions we got this week. We got a bunch of questions this week. We're going to answer that. We're going to just kind of keep on chatting. So head over there again, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. It's all in the description. If you could please, if you made it this far, please hit the description. Follow us on everything. My YouTube channel, Jimmy's YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And until next time, we'll get out of here. Thank you as always for being here. We will see you next time, folks. And we'll see you over on the Patreon. Peace, peace, peace.
But then I start lying. I'm like, I'm going to serve my country in a few years. Like, you can't do this. Like, this and that.
And then him on stage goes, yeah, you. And I was like, I got the VCR.
Oh,
I got the
yeah,
VHS
that's
tapes.
cool as hell, man.
I'm so fucking stoked.
Hell yeah.
And do you think we see John Cena inside WarGames for the first time ever? No, I don't think we're seeing Cena in the WarGames match.
What is MJF doing? That's my boy. That's
question.
My favorite wrestler in AEW, and we don't have a clear direction for him yet.